Our school has around 1,200 students in it. We have around 60% students that come from disadvantaged backgrounds. When March 2020 happened and schools were forced to close down, we weren't ready for it. We didn't know what we were going to do. The government didn't really give us much guidance on what we had to do. So we had to do what we could. And what we did do was we went to remote learning. We did sort of a soft approach to using our already established digital platforms where we share homework, and we were pushing out a lot of work for students to do independently. As a school, it's so important to ensure that our students all have access to the same resources and to the same level of support from ourselves, but also making sure that every one of our students is able to access a great education. We would not be fulfilling our role as educators if students were left behind. So Kajeet has been so useful for us as a school. It's enabled our students that do not have internet access to have internet access, but also it enabled us to filter what they're able to access and actually filter the times when they're able to access it. So actually Kajeet ended up being internet access solely for education, and I think that's important. What was interesting with using Kajeet was there was actually very little extra support we required when implementing this with our students. It was very clearly set out, and it was self-explanatory. Developing an online community for our students has been very beneficial. It forces the students to be able to interact with each other online. I think that's important, and actually modeling what good interaction online is, because actually that's a big concern. And actually through remote learning, we've been able to do that. We've been able to do form time sessions where actually it's not curriculum based, it's just a time for students to catch up and talk and speak with each other and interact with each other. So it's important to not be complacent in the idea that thinking that we're never gonna require remote learning of any sort anymore. And actually it's important to protect what we have already established in terms of work through remote means like Google Meets and Google Classroom and other various platforms. What we are doing now, actually quite a lot of that we're trying to incorporate into our face-to-face teaching. So actually we're almost having what they call a blended approach. Things that are difficult to really get across through remote learning, we now have the time to be able to do that because we can shift some of the more easier concepts to remote learning. I think blended learning actually has a lot of benefits that come with it. And actually, when we're talking about what we're thinking of doing going forward, we understand there's going to be some aspect of blended learning that's going to be required. We know that even in the future, even in the new academic year, we may still have some students that need to self-isolate and are off school for a slightly longer period of time. Actually, what's really good is we've got the system in place already. We've got a system in place where students are able to hop in and out of school to be able to access whatever learning is going on in school. So without Kajeet, I don't think we would have been able to provide the provision that we have done. Kajeet really enabled us to be able to do that, to be able to provide internet access to those that were struggling to get good quality internet access, and for us to have the peace of mind to make sure that they're accessing safe internet. That has been great for us, and actually, without that, our students wouldn't have progressed as well as they have.